Backlinks are an absolute necessity to run a successful Shopify SEO strategy. Easily the most important ranking factor given the state of Google right now. Simply put, backlinks are a link from another website to yours. They're like votes of confidence from other sources, popularity contest, kind of sort of thing. I've spoken to 7 or 8 brands this week that have never even heard of backlinks, and another 2 to 3 SEO agencies that have no idea how to build backlinks safely or effectively for their clients. They can get pricey, of course, which is why brands and even more commonly agencies skimp on them. But if you don't build backlinks or you build bad ones, you're going to find it practically impossible to compete with other brands and rank in the top 3 spots of Google, rendering your Shopify SEO strategy completely unsuccessful, okay, and a giant waste of money. More backlinks over time leads to stronger site authority, which leads to more organic traffic, and of course, more organic revenue, right? That is what we're doing with Shopify SEO. That is the entire function of it, is to make more money via search. In this video, we're gonna go over key link building factors, which pages to build backlinks to, different types of backlinks, how to budget for backlinks every single month, and how to find quality backlinks for your website. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Cromwell. I'm the founder of Newsies. We are an e-commerce SEO agency working exclusively with Shopify brands in the 7, 8, and 9-figure range. We've built over 25 Shopify brands, 2 to 3x organic search revenue, and get results like these: 12K to 92K a month, 3K a month to 215K a month, and 43K a month to 72K a month, all with the power of SEO. Without further ado, let's get into it. I want to talk about the key link building factors first. Okay, there's a handful of them, and there's a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about which metrics are actually important. First, I want to start with relevance. Relevance is arguably the most important factor when it comes to backlinks, especially now. A link from a site in your niche or similar industry will carry a lot more weight and a lot more value for you than a random link from some unrelated site. For, let's say, your Shopify brand and you sell fitness equipment, you should be building backlinks from sites that are in the fitness, health space, even like running, like something in the general fitness space would be good. That'll be a lot better than a link from like a food blogger or, a travel website or a tech blog. So keep it within your niche. Google uses relevance as a key indicator of a link's quality and usefulness. The more closely related that linking site is to your niche, the more trust Google will place within the link effectively. This is also a component of topical authority, which a lot of people incorrectly believe is just related to the content on your site. Not true, okay? Topical authority branches out to the links and the relevance of those links pointing to your site. That being said, like a couple of highly relevant links will outweigh a large number of irrelevant ones. Quality over quantity is always going to be the approach with SEO. That is my firm belief. Next up is authority. So the second key factor here when you're building backlinks is authority. The most common metric you've probably heard of is like domain authority, domain rating, authority score, depending on what tool you use, like Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, whatever. In any case, links from well-established, trustworthy sites are going to pass more value, or more commonly referred to in the SEO world, link juice, than links from a brand new site or a lower quality / lower authority site. There are a couple of ways, like I said, you can measure a site's domain authority. Again, domain authority, just to be clear, whether it's domain authority, domain rating, authority score, whatever, there's a third-party metric from a third-party SEO tool. It can be manipulated. However, there are ways you can tell how authoritative a site is comparatively to another site. All right, so you're looking at that base level, like third-party metric, domain rating, domain authority. You're also looking at organic traffic. You're also looking at the age of the domain, and you're also looking at the quality of like that site's actual backlink profile. So the sites that link to them, are they good? Are they bad? Are they a combination of both? Whatever. When link building, I like to balance. There's not like a 50-50 balance here, but you need to be thinking about authority and relevance. Okay, so if you have a specific budget, I need to get some relevant links that are maybe lower authority but really relevant to me, and also some higher authority links that are maybe slightly less relevant. But you need to have a mix of both. This is going to kind of show you what Google wants within your niche, and if you decide like, hey, Google's really favoring my authority links or really favoring my relevant links, go build more of the one that Google's favoring. You'll be off to the races. Next up is anchor text. So anchor text is the actual clickable text within a hyperlink. It basically helps search engines understand the context of the link and what the link page is about. It also is important for users, right? They want to know when they click on the anchor text, like the anchor text should be indicative of the page that they're going to be forwarded to after they click on the link. Okay, it should all make sense. There are several types of anchor text out there. Using like the fitness example from earlier, let's go with exact match. So exact match for fitness would be like fitness equipment. Partial match would be equipment for home gyms, right? Still kind of the same, but not exactly. Branded, so if your brand was like Fit Gear Store or something, right? That'd be branded. Generic would be like click here, read more. Those are, you can use them on like Web 2.0 and forum links. I probably wouldn't do them a lot if you're paying for do follow links, but we'll get to that later on. And then a naked URL, which is obviously just your URL. So like fitgearstore.com, for example. Back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, you could just hammer exact match anchors and you could get to the top of Google in a few weeks. That is no longer the case. Google is a far more sophisticated search engine now. And if you do exact match all the time, you are absolutely going to get penalized. No questions asked. I would say when I do it, and what I'd probably recommend, is less than 5 to 10% of your anchors across your entire backlink split should be exact match. Another 10 to 20% could be partial match. Obviously there's a lot more variations of partial match, so you could maybe extend this out to like 25, 30%. And then the remaining 40 to 50% of the links you build should be branded. These are for sure the safest way to build links. I will say it's probably the more conservative route, but it's good to build links nonetheless, and it's good to establish your brand as an entity with these brand anchors. One other consideration I think a lot of people forget about is actually the text on the left and right side of your anchor is also very important to the actual, how Google essentially evaluates your link. So make sure they look natural, right? Like don't just stuff some random anchor within a sentence that doesn't make sense or in between two sentences that aren't at all related to that anchor. They should look natural and provide the words before and after the anchor should provide even more relevance to users and search engines about the nature of the link, like where the link is going to be pointing them to. Next up is placement. There's a couple things to note about placement. Where a link appears on a page, like top, middle, bottom, sidebar, main nav, footer, all of that can affect its value. Generally, if you're building links, you should be aiming to build them in the main content of a page rather than in like the sidebar, the footer, or comment sections. If you're doing like Web 2.0 or forum links, like for sure comment sections will be valuable to you. Sidebars, footers, generally not your best look. I would definitely aim for in-content links. So here's a rough kind of breakdown of link placements ranked from most valuable to least valuable. Within the main content, preferably near the top of the page. If there are 5 internal links within like the body of an article and you have the first one, the first internal link is more valuable than the second, third, fourth, and fifth subsequent one. Okay, so if you're the 5th link, you are technically a little bit less valuable than the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Okay, so you want to ideally have the first internal link pointing to your website within the page content. Second up is in a prominent area like a resource list or recommended link section. Number 3 is sidebar, number 4 is footer, and number 5 is comment section. Most comment section links, probably like all of them honestly, are all no follow links, excuse me. If you spam this on like Web 2.0, it could work, but probably not what I would lead with. When you're building backlinks actively, especially like when you're paying for them, you should be aiming for in-content links as much as possible. And again, ideally looking to get the very first link in that content. Next up is diversity. We talk about like anchor diversity, right? Like exact match, partial match, branded, all that stuff, right? But you should also be thinking about like the site, the diversity of the websites, okay? You should be looking at the type of sites linking to you, okay? Like don't just go and find every fitness blog in the space and link to you. Like you should also be looking at any like fitness news or fitness directories, right? Those are also valuable and help you diversify your link profile. The authority levels of linking sites, if you know you've built 5 or 6 DA 30 to 40 links, like maybe go splurge a little bit and go get like a DR 60. Anchor text, again, obviously varying that. You should not be using exact match all the time. You shouldn't always be using partial match. Like mix it up. Exact, partial, branded, anchor, whatever. Naked, website URL, all those need to be important. And then link attributes. If you're paying for a link, ideally you want it to be do follow. However, you should not just totally avoid no follow links because you don't think they're valuable. A no follow link on a site like MSN or Yahoo, still massively valuable. So don't like shy away for a no follow link. Sponsored links, like I probably wouldn't pay for sponsored link. Not really going to help you in the scheme of your SEO. UGC, maybe. Kind of falls outside the realm of like traditional SEO, I'd say. That's more on like the probably affiliate side of things. But follow and no follow is like what I would aim to balance out. I would say like for every 8 or 9 links you pay for, let's say the 9th or 10th one should be no follow. General rule of thumb. Next up, which pages to build backlinks to. The main dilemma you're going to face is obviously there are tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of pages on your website. Okay, so the main dilemma is figuring out which pages you want to point your backlinks to. Bottom of funnel, so like product pages, category pages, or mid to top of funnel, like blog content or your homepage, for example. I would say, generally speaking, there are rules of thumb, like which pages to build links to at what percentages. I would also say it's definitely worth checking out what your competitors are doing, because some niches, like some like local service businesses, you could build a ton of links to look like the actual like service page, and it will work. If you do that in e-commerce and build strictly to your product pages, it's not going to work. So I will say like niche and even within like the kind of business you run, it all is a bit variable. In the case of e-commerce, like product pages, that one example I just gave, Google tends to ignore links to product pages because they are not very natural looking, okay? Like another website owner is not going to link to your product page out of the kindness of their heart. So really the link looks manipulative, it looks paid for, it looks sponsored to some degree, even though there may be a do follow tag on it. So if you're in e-commerce, I would not recommend building any backlinks to your product pages because it's going to be a waste of money. I don't do it in my agency, I haven't done it in years. We've never been penalized and we don't waste money on links, okay? So like if you're doing that, if you're doing it to product pages, I would stop and find a new page to go to. Back to like that general rule of thumb, like the percentages of pages I build to. At my agency and on my own personal sites, I build about 50% of links to my homepage, plus another 25% to collection pages. I will say collection pages perform differently than product pages. You can build backlinks to collection pages without getting harmed and without wasting your money. And I'd say the remaining 25% to the top performing blog posts. Now, this is a very like balanced and safe or conservative spread. I know tons of people who build links almost all to their blog posts or almost all of their collection pages. You can be aggressive. You could be even more conservative than I can. I know people who only build links to their homepage. It's up to you and kind of your risk appetite. You have to understand if you be more aggressive, you may win in the short run. There's also the potential that you could get penalized. If you're really conservative, you'll probably never get penalized, but it's also going to take you a lot longer to get results. Okay, so you need to find what works for you, and think about your risk appetite and your budget and all that good stuff. Best way to go about it and figure out like how many links you need to build over like a yearly or quarterly or monthly basis. Just do a link gap analysis. Okay, you can use Ahrefs, SEMrush, any tool like that. Look at your competitors and see how many domains are pointing to them, and figure out like a cost budget and figure out like how many of those links are actually valuable. Okay, if they have like, let's say 1,000 referring domains, I guarantee you like you could probably take like 800 of those off the table immediately because they're probably not very valuable. Let's say the remaining 200, like 50% of them are DR 40 and above, and like that's all you're interested in building. Like now you know your link gap. Okay, you can ignore all of the other thousands that are like no follow or super low quality, or some other combination of links that you're not interested in. Now, types of backlinks. There are a handful of backlinks you can build for your Shopify store and obviously any other store. Guest posts are probably the most widely known one. Basically, you write a piece of content, you put it on someone else's website, you usually will pay them a fee. It's a good opportunity to get a link. It's pretty straightforward, right? You write the content, you get the link, end of kind of the interaction. Also a good chance you get to control the narrative because you're writing all of the content. Makes sense. Other type is link insertions. Currently my personal favorite. Basically find a relevant page, usually a blog post, with existing content that is relevant to your business. And then essentially you convince / politely ask to get them to link to you. Typically compensating them with money, right? You're going to pay for a lot of backlinks. That is just the most effective way to do it. You will essentially suggest an edit to get an anchor in there to point to your whatever page you have, and then that's it. You also want to make sure the page you request an insertion on is actually getting traffic. This will make it the most valuable. If you pick a page that's not getting traffic, that link's not going to be very valuable to you, okay? Next up is skyscraper technique. It is an approach that had a lot of success about 5 or 10 years ago, or 5 to 10 years ago rather. Basically, the theory is you will land free links by simply creating really valuable content. Whether it's, a stat page, like a statistic page, or, like a breaking news article, or like an ultimate directory or resource page, right? I will say, like I said, it is dated. It can work in certain occasions in really non-competitive niches, but generally writing the best content and hoping to attract links, it's not a strategy. It's really like a hope. I don't like hope. I would rather build a strategy I know is going to work. So skyscraper is a bit of a gamble. Okay, I'd say like you can write great content and that can exist, but if it doesn't have any links to it, it will never really be discovered and also therefore never attract more links. Last up is unlinked mentions. Basically find any unlinked mentions of your brand name anywhere on the internet and then just reach out to the sites and ask them to link to you. It's a good way to get free links because they've already mentioned your name. They're probably not going to charge you for a link. There are other techniques. You can do stealing your competitors' broken links. I will say the best way to go about link building though at scale is quite honestly just paying for them. Okay. That being said, let's get into how to budget for your backlinks. Link building isn't cheap. It's gotten, I think, even more expensive in the last 12 to 18 months. I'd say most quality backlinks will run you anywhere from like $100 to $400 per link. You can for sure pay more, but I will say this is kind of the sweet spot for building pretty good links at a consistent basis. And most brands, in the $100,000 a month revenue range or more can't afford a budget like this. I would say if you go on Fiverr and someone says they can build you 1,000 links for $50, I would tell you to run the other way. That's impossible. At least 1,000 good links. Okay, that would cost you several thousands of dollars. I would also say for most people, you should probably avoid links that cost an excessive amount of money. I have seen Forbes links go for like $50K, $100K. I would never pay for a link. I could never even justify paying for that kind of link. I also think it's worth asking. You can negotiate with people. I have gotten $3,000 links down to like $300 or $400. It's worth asking. It's always worth asking. The worst they will say is no, and they still want your money, so you can still pay full price if it comes to it. Okay, I'd say at minimum you should be building like 5 to 10 backlinks a month. Obviously, if you have a lower budget, that number will change, but I think 5 to 10 is a good range. That'll bring you in somewhere between like the $500 to $3,000-$4,000 a month range. For reference, like at our agency, we spend like $1 to $3K each month for each of my agency clients, obviously depending on like which retainer we're on. And we do great, right? A lot of our brands are having tons of success on what some SEO agencies may consider smaller budgets, but we make it work because of our really advanced QA process. Now, how to find quality backlinks. There are so many ways to do it. When I first started SEO, quick anecdote here, I had no idea where to get backlinks. Okay, I was like, do you cold email? Do you pay for them? Like, what's the deal here? Like I said earlier a few times now, you just have to pay for them. Okay, you just have to reach out to websites and pay for them. That is just it. I would say the gold standard for backlinks across all industries, e-commerce, otherwise, is PR link building. Okay, basically there's a handful of ways to do PR link building. You latch on to trending topics, you create a data-driven studies, you can do expert commentary, and then essentially you offer, like you send out that kind of information, usually like a press release style, to journalists, in your country, like the US, who've covered topics like this, and ideally you land high authority links to them or from them, right? I've seen campaigns get anywhere from 5 to 10 links per campaign, upwards of like 300 plus links per campaign. I've tested a handful of PR link building agencies and platforms. My favorite currently is Vibra Media. We ran a campaign with them like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that campaign essentially netted us links in MSN, Yahoo News, Mirror UK, Manchester Evening News, Wales Online, Dexerto, Head Topics, Gloucester Live, and Metro. PR link building is not cheap. I've paid a lot more for PR link building and gotten worse results. I do like Vibra, but you've got to be prepared to spend some money for PR link building. Okay, it's definitely not cheap. Second tier of links is guest posts and link insertions. I have a full video on how to approach these types of links, and I literally just dropped it. They're the most common ones we're building on our agency for now, just because I think they're the best bang for your buck on a low budget. So make sure to check out that video. I just released it. For guest posting and niche edits, like link insertion style, there are platforms out there where you can purchase these kinds of links. SERPzilla is a pretty solid choice for this. There's also other options out there like Bazoom, White Press, Fat Joe, Authority Builders, Rhino Rank, all those kinds of platforms. Okay, if you just like Google backlink building or anything like that, you'll probably see a ton of ads. Obviously, you'll see some organic results, but click through, see what you can do. If you are on like a super tight budget and like your time is not a factor, you can also reach out to sites directly on your own via cold email. Okay, it's probably the most cost-effective way, but it's definitely a time suck because you have to build the cold email campaigns, the prospecting list, write the scripts, manage follow-ups, handle payment, all that stuff, right? Definitely not an easy process to just kind of pick up and insert into your company's infrastructure. That pretty much covers everything you need to know about what backlinks are, how they work, how much they cost, and how you can find them. So make sure to follow and connect with me on Twitter and LinkedIn. I share new findings and strategies that are working for our clients on there regularly. We also have a full 5-hour SEO course going more in depth on how we're able to add thousands of dollars to like the people in this community's organic search revenue consistently. Click the link in the description for that. And if you are a Shopify brand doing $250,000 a month or more and looking to get off the paid ads hamster wheel and make 2 to 3x more through organic search revenue for your Shopify store, please book a discovery call with us. You can find the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.